Hi, beautiful people. Hi, beautiful souls. How are you? You know, it's been a couple of crazy, intense days. Everybody that I've talked to, everybody that I know is going through some crisis in one way or another. So, like I said in the beginning of the year, the most important single aspect that we have this year happening is basically the squaring of Uranus and Taurus with Saturn and Aquarius, okay? So this is like a very strong aspect, okay? And it's gonna be activated at certain times of the year, okay? So when the sun is in Taurus, like we have it now, it's gonna be activated. When the sun was in Aquarius in February, it was also activated. And it'll activate again in June, and when we have the sun in the fixed signs. The fixed signs are Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. So we have to have that clear, okay? So basically, let's try to understand from a higher perspective, what do these planets want? What are they striving to give humanity? Because that's the point where we have to be looking at all this, you know, because if we just focus on ourselves and our crisis and our, you know, situations that are like calling for a new understanding of stability, calling for a new understanding of responsibility and work, and if we only look at the micro, we're not going to really understand. And that's why I'm coming today to leave this video, because I think it's important that we take a look at the bigger picture and that we can actually process this information in a much healthy and holistic way. Okay, so the square that we have going on, it's active all throughout the year, okay? It's just that we have certain specific points of the year that is going to be like really, really activated and highlighted even more. So we have this going on between Uranus in Taurus. Taurus is a sign that wants to keep everything as it is, stable, steady, known, you know, and Uranus is there like, what? We need to get this ball moving. Like, you know, we need to bring in and shake this up. What does Taurus rules? The economy, our value systems, nature, all that we value is ruled by Taurus, okay? Real estate is ruled by Taurus. So all these things are like really being activated. And Saturn in Aquarius is like wanting to bring in a new stability, you know, a new way of doing things, a new way of working, a new way of humans, you know, Saturn in Aquarius, a new way for humanity to operate. So all this is going on, and we have to be, you know, conscious that this is not something that happens in 1 month or 2 months. Everything is like a process, you know, it's like a constant evolutionary change. And I think that's when people like get stuck, okay? Like they only see what's going on with them in the micro, and they can't really expand and see the macro. And basically, we're going to have this whole shift, right? This whole shift while we have like the years leading up to the age of Aquarius, which is really starting in 2024, 2025. So all this is a period of transition. So many things we're going to see changing, including our stability. What was stable for me like a year ago is not necessarily what is stable for me today, okay? And when I means stability, all those things that, you know, that represent stability, like money, food, shelter, like all these things, the economy, what we value, our work, the way we work, the way we interact with others, all these things. So all these things are quickly changing, and we have to understand that this is a collective process that's affecting us on the personal level, okay? So it's important to know where these changes are taking place for you, because I think that it's, you know, it's a little, you know, daunting to be like totally blind as to what's going on, and then we don't know like the areas of our life that are being fully changed and fully affected by this square that we're having. And not only the squares are happening, okay, but also we have Taurus season, right? The sun is in Taurus, and guess what? We have at the end of the month, we have on May 26th, we are going to be having a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, okay? And next month in June, we're going to be having a new moon eclipse, solar eclipse in Gemini. So that solar eclipse in Gemini, we're starting to feel now, okay? And remember that, what is it that eclipses do in our life? So eclipses want us to be like in our path, in our life path, right? So basically, an eclipse comes, and this is what it's going to do. If you're here and you're supposed to be here, the eclipse will come and will accommodate you, will shift and move you so that you can get in your line, right? In your line of destiny, in your lifeline type of thing, okay? So that's what the eclipses will do. So how much the eclipses actually will affect you depends on how far away are you from that specific line where you should be. So like if you're here, it's gonna be like a tiny little whoop, and you're back in and you're on track, and then you're like on track. Okay, let's go to the next eclipse in 6 months, da-da-da. But if you're all the way here and you've been out of your lifeline, right? So it's gonna be like boom, it's gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be a bigger movement, it's gonna be a bigger change, a bigger shift. So we have to understand that the further away you are from your lifeline or your mission or your destiny, whatever you want to call it, the more you're gonna feel the changes, okay? So it's important to understand that we are already feeling that energy, okay? So besides the point of our whole stability shifting around and everything kind of changing, and we see it in the collective, we have to understand that we are already like in the eclipse season, and this is being felt really strong, okay? So when we have personal things going on in our life, and you know, I see people like, oh, you know, I must change jobs. I know people like, oh, I was in this like long time relationship that I'm having to end. So all these like important changes in life, or like, you know, people just passing away. Eclipses are like portals where a lot of souls will come in, and then a lot of souls will leave the planet. So it's something normal, you know. It's just what it is. It's the way that the eclipses operate. So it's important for us to know all this information, because if not, we're kind of like in the blind as to what's going on, right? And that's why we have astrology. That's why we use astrology as a tool to help us understand what's going on. I'm going to show you, or I'm going to tell you right now, depending on your ascendant, what areas are being moved for you in particular. Okay, so let's go to the fixed signs. So the fixed signs are, if your ascendant is Aquarius, for example, you're going to be feeling this in your first house and in your fourth house. So there's going to be a change in stability in what you call a home. What was home for you until this moment in time in your life, and that may be going through changes. And then again, you in your first house, your personality, the way you express yourself, even the way you carry yourself is different. It'll be different because these are the points that this square is touching for you. If you are a Taurus rising, you're going to have this in your first house, but also in the 10th house. So this is going to be a major move, a major shift happening between your career and changes in your career and changes within you, your physical persona, the way you see things, the way you understand things, the way people's perception of you are going to be changing really drastically. Okay, let's go into Scorpio. If you are a Scorpio rising, you're going to be feeling this in the 4th house of home and the 7th house of partnerships or marriage. So the inner workings of you understanding yourself, your past, your home, what's base for you, the home base for you is being shaken, is being changed right now. And also important relationships, like one-on-one, like can be either marriage or it can be important associations that you hold with other people, one-to-one. Okay, and then we have a Leo, which is the other fixed sign. This is going to be shaking up your 7th house of partnerships and your 10th house of career, professional advancements. And this is also going to be totally giving you a brand new start. A brand new start in your career, especially because of the new moon coming in Taurus. You're gonna be really feeling this like a fresh new start in this area in your life. Okay, for Scorpio, the fresh new area will be like a new partnership. For Taurus, something that Taurus rising, something that has to do with you. And then for the Aquarius rising is something that has to do with the home. Maybe a new home is something that's going on for you. Okay, so let's go to the cardinal signs. So if your ascendant is Capricorn, you're going to be feeling this energy in the 2nd house of income, the 2nd house of assets, and the 5th house of joy, pleasure, sons, children, hobbies. So you may be finding yourself in a new relationship, picking up a new hobby, changes in salaries, changes in what you do, changes in assets also. If you're a Libra ascendant, you're going to be feeling this in the 5th house. The 5th house that rules children, and the 8th house that is the subconscious mind. Okay, so this is going to be giving you like the opportunity to journal your dreams, write down, because there's new things coming. If you are in a relationship that's been there for a while, it can even mean like a separation, a divorce. In the 5th house, you have Aquarius, and this is going to be like about, like I say, new hobbies, new opportunities for you to pick up things, also new relationships. And if you are an Aries ascending, you're going to be feeling this in the second house and in the 11th house. The second house is, again, assets, what we value. And the 11th house is friendships, social groups. So maybe like a whole new re-evaluation of what is important and what you now consider important as opposed to before. And we have the last cardinal sign. If you're an ascendant Cancer, you're going to be feeling this in the 11th house and in the 8th house. So it's having to do with a new group of friends, a new social circle, and also with endings, with you being able to put something behind you. It could be relationships. It could also be like the termination of certain relationships, either because of death or because they were toxic and you decided to leave them. Okay, let's go to the mutable signs. If you are ascendant Gemini, you're going to be feeling this in the 12th house and in the 9th house. So like the 12th house rules like the subconscious mind. So there's going to be a lot of changes going on internally at the level of the mind. So you are like processing new information, like really going through a period of awakening inside. And also, if something in the 9th house, it has to do with either studying, either like a foreign country, or it has to do with legal matters too, where you feel like this strong energy. The change is there in these areas for you. Now, if you are a Pisces ascendant, you're going to be feeling this in the 12th house, and you're going to be feeling this in the 3rd house. So you're going to have like a new way of thinking, a new way of processing information, and even a new way of communicating. In the 12th house, you're going to have the Saturn in Aquarius, and it's going to be giving you like you're going to be wanting to work more on yourself. The work of becoming a better person for you and for humanity, making you a better server for humanity. And this is an aspect where you can easily go into doing like deep psychological work, doing deep transformational work. Is really strongly recommended for Pisces ascendant. If you are Sagittarius ascendant, this is going to be falling in the 3rd house where you have Aquarius, and the 6th house of work, day-to-day activities. So maybe a new thing with the new moon coming that has to do with a new work or with a new way of handling your day-to-day, right? And also maybe like new habits for you to make you like healthier in your day-to-day habits. And also a new way of thinking. There's a lot of lessons that are going to come through the way you communicate, okay, with others. And let's see, if you are a Virgo rising, that's the other mutable. If you are Virgo rising, you're going to be feeling this with your work, and also legal processes, or if you work with foreign countries, you're going to be feeling this in your day-to-day, but also with your work. Maybe there's a change in dynamic with people that you're working with, that you're going to be starting to work even more with people from abroad, and basically just shifting your the way you conducted your day-to-day either work or livelihood, operations. So this is what's reflected for you, Virgo rising. So now let's go into the, I think we're done. I think we're done. The cardinals, the mutables, the fixed. We're done, guys. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So that was just kind of like, you know, really briefly of how this, where this energy is being felt, okay? So a lot of people are like panicking, are feeling like they don't know what to do. So when you don't know what to do, there's nothing to do, okay? When you don't know what to do, there's nothing to do. It's as simple as that. And the time hasn't come for you to move, okay? So that is what I can tell you. There are major shifts happening, and they're gonna come eventually. We have a full moon coming. We have a full moon eclipse coming at the end of the month. Then we have a new moon eclipse coming next month, but we're already feeling it. And we're in the middle of like this major square, which is like the signature for 2021, you know? So there's a lot of things happening. So give yourself time, give yourself a breather. You don't have to be fixing things or chasing things. No, whatever comes, whatever, you know, it's the perfect time to honestly take that approach, because not only are you going through that, but everybody else is going through that. So it's important that we respect like each other's processes, and you know that maybe the other person is not going like through the same exact situation in the same exact parts of their life, but they're still going through a lot. Humanity, we are going through a lot. So in the middle of the craziness, in the middle of all this that's going on, let's try to, you know, take a breather, take 2 steps back. And really, if you kind of like feel anxious about the changes that are coming or heading your way, just kind of like relax, take it easy. And the trusting is very important. We have the sun in Taurus. A beautiful thing that I spoke about last video, I think, is that Taurus energy is that we learn to trust. We learn to trust the rhythm of life. We learn to trust what's going on for us, you know, and learning to flow in that rhythm, not the rhythm that we want, in that rhythm of life is the secret to making it through this period. And then when the sun goes into Gemini, that's going to be May 20th, we're going to have more information, and then we're going to know a little bit more about how to move and how to, you know, navigate through this. And then we're going to, you know, be dealing with major planets or the personal planets in air signs. So we're also going to want to take a breather now, because things are going to get really busy next month, by the end of this month too. So that's what I can bring you today, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. And just remember, guys, love yourself, love thy neighbor, and keep it up, because you are already doing great. And this is probably, like I see it, this year, next year, even into 2023 are going to be periods where a lot of shift and accommodation are going to happen, so we can roll in nicely into the Aquarian age, guys. Okay, love you.